Hello everyone, I am pleased to be here tonight. My name is Abby Porter and I'm an 18-year-old mental health advocate. Although at 18 years old, I can proudly say I have given over 50 suicide prevention presentations, I have been featured on national podcasts, and I'm a certified suicide preventer trainer, I cannot say I've always been this way. For the longest time, I tried to fit myself into a label that others gave me. This label was being a sick girl. I first received this label from the ages of 1 to 10 years old when I was diagnosed with a rare kidney and bladder disease. The hospital quickly became my second home, and by the age of 10, I had endured 13 surgeries. Then, at 11 years old, when I was finally put in remission and released from the hospital, it was hard for me to adjust back to normal childhood. So, to gain any sense of self-control, I had developed an eating disorder. By the time I was 12, I was hospitalized my very first time for anorexia nervosa. But when it came to my eating disorder, I was put through the ringer and hospitalized 2 more times by the age of 14 for bulimia and a binge eating disorder. Then, at 15 years old, my family and my therapist at the time came to the conclusion that I have bipolar I disorder. Although I wasn't formally diagnosed until this year at 18 years old, we knew way before then. Finally, at 16 years old, I went to my 4th hospitalization, this time for overall mental health and not just my eating disorders. During this time, I vividly remember one night in December 2021. I was just having a hard time with my eating disorder thoughts and behaviors I would exhibit when I'm in a bipolar episode. So, the next day, I walked into my PHP program and told this to my therapist. After opening up to him, I vividly remember him telling me these words. Abby, you can change your eating habits and you can restore your weight, but your eating disorder thoughts will never fully go away. And I shouldn't have to tell you this because you should already know that your bipolar is uncurable. He continued to try to explain that there's meds I can be on and certain treatments I can go into, but in that moment I didn't want to listen to that. All that rang through my head was the fact that I was uncurable. So, that night I went home and I remember crying in my bed for about an hour. And I decided that if I was going to be uncurable, that meant that I had no purpose. And if I had no purpose, what was the point? So, before I went downstairs to find anything I could to numb my feelings at that time, I got up and I looked at myself in the mirror. I truly didn't recognize the girl that was staring back at me. I didn't even know my own reflection. So, in that moment, I decided that if I couldn't find a purpose for myself, I would find a purpose in helping others and making sure that no one felt the way I felt in that moment. So, I went to sleep that night, and then immediately the next day, I reached out to my school because we have a mental health team, and I told them that I wanted to get involved. Since that life-changing moment in December 2021, I can proudly say I have broken free from the label of being a sick girl, despite all the evidence that might have supported it. Now, although it might seem like I have it figured out, I still have my daily challenges. But on the journey to recovery, I have learned some lessons that have truly helped me. And I am here tonight to help share these lessons with you in hopes to help each and every one of you. Lesson number 1, mental health is real. I'm going to have each of you close your eyes right now, and when I say something that applies to you, I want you to raise your hands. Raise your hand if you've ever personally been diagnosed with a mental illness. Raise your hand if you know someone who's been diagnosed with a mental illness. Now, I want you to keep your hands raised, open up your eyes, and look around. As you can tell, mental health is common. In fact, NAMI states that 1 in 5 US adults experience a mental illness. So, this gets me thinking, and I'm sure it gets you guys thinking, if mental health is so common, why is it not often seen as valid or real? I believe this is because we do not see mental health as just health. It has been said that mental health and physical health go hand in hand. When one declines or improves, the other will decline and improve with it. If this is so, why is one, physical health, so normalized, and the other, mental health, is such a taboo? I truly believe if we started talking about mental health and validating it as much as we do physical health, it could break this stigma. For example, you might hear friends or family talk about the times they had, let's say, strep throat, the signs they had, the treatments they went through, and how they felt during it. If we started speaking up like this for mental health and talked about our time with depression or anxiety, it would help connect people to the right help, seek treatment, and know the signs before it's too late. No matter what you are going through and what your struggles are, or no matter what you might be diagnosed with, I'm here to tell you that it's valid and it is real. Now, lesson number 2, the world is as you perceive it. During hardships, it is very common to ask yourself, why is this happening to me? But simply reframing those thoughts to, what can this do for me, or how can this make me grow, is crucial. This technique is often called opposite action. Essentially, what you are doing is taking your initial emotional response to a negative event and responding with a more rational and effective response. It truly helps clear the mind and ground yourself in crisis situations. Another technique that can truly change your perspective on things is radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is embracing the situation you're in and understanding that you can't always have control of what's going on with you. You can be mad or sad about a situation, but you might not have complete control over it. What you do have control over is the solutions and the steps you take to get out of it. Both of these techniques are a part of DBT skills, dialectical behavior therapy. Harvard Health has stated that these skills help with PTSD, depression, eating disorders, substance use issues, and borderline personality disorders. DBT has truly been life-changing for me, and I think that anyone here could use it effectively because it truly helps rationalize yourself in crisis situations. But although DBT is what works for me, I emphasize and want each of you to find coping skills that work for you and truly help change your perspective on things. It is so important to realize that we often struggle more in our imagination than we do in reality. Now, my final lesson for you all is finding a support system. I'm sure many of you here think it's more honorable if you do things on your own. Maybe you think that finding support or asking for help is a sign of weakness. But I'm here to tell you that's not true. Simply even having one person by your side can be so impactful. During hardships, it is crucial to find a support system. Support systems really help enhance coping skills, reduce stress, and give you a sense of belonging. I suggest you look for people that can be a part of your support system in family members, friends, co-workers, teachers, teammates, etc. Whoever may be in your support system, you really have to make sure they care and love you. No matter who's in your support system, I emphasize that you find people that have many hands but one united mind that wants you to thrive and you to reach your goals. It is so important to find someone who truly cares. So, what I'm going to do is encourage each and every one of you right now to think about someone that has truly been there for you when you're struggling and has always showed up. What I want you to do after this talk is reach out to them and express your gratitude towards them for always being there. Then, in return, I want you to say that you have their back too, and truly mean it. This is the first step to really forming a strong support system. Now, as I wrap up my talk, I would like to emphasize how important it is to know your mental health is real, to find coping skills that work for you, and to prioritize finding a support system. I want all of you to know and truly believe that you are greater than any obstacle that's thrown at you. You are more than your challenges, you are more than your struggles, and you are more than any label that might be given to you. Now I leave each and every one of you with this question. Ask yourself, what can I do to thrive despite all the odds being put against me? Thank you.